How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another match preview. Today we're going to be previewing Wolves taking on Manchester City, the first league game at Molineux this season. My name is Dave from Talking Wolves, giving my thoughts ahead of the game. And of course, as always, we'll be having some Manchester City insight later on in the video as well. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Before the big game, and it has been a very busy weekend for Wolves. One big out and one big in. And Diogo Jota is going to obviously be the talking point among most Wolves fans this weekend. It came out of nowhere. Of course, we've done a video with it with a little bit more insight and a little bit more information. But it was a bit of a shock. But a lot of money for Wolves to come in. And it's quite a big move. And it's going to be interesting to see how Wolves, continue and how they approach the season with team selections and formations. And Ki-Jana Hoever coming in from Liverpool, young defender, not available for the game against Manchester City, but it'll be interesting to see where he fits into Nuno's plans. Is he going to be the first choice right wing back this season? Will Nuno see him as a centre back? It'll be quite interesting to see how Wolves go, but they're going for a very youthful approach this season, and it'll be interesting to see how it pays off. But Wolves kicked off the season in fantastic fashion last week. It will be a bang on 7 days since the last game. We kicked off on Monday. We'll have our second game on Monday as well. And, of course, beating Sheffield United, which is a bit of a shock to me, to be fair. We did it quite comfortably. 2 goals so early on, which is so unlike Wolves as well. And I think the first time a Premier League team has scored 2 goals that quick before. So the fact that we were able to do that after, it was almost a joke that Wolves weren't able to score first half goals last season. But we killed the game off within 6 minutes, which was great to see. And Wolves could just relax, and fans could relax as well. The fact that we got 3 points so comfortably in the first game was great. This was obviously the biggest hurdle and biggest stumbling block, the Manchester City game. We had a pretty favourable running of the first 6, 7, 8 games. And I genuinely thought by the end of October, Wolves could win all of them, probably apart from this game against Manchester City. I think it is the biggest hurdle out of those early fixtures. But the fact that we've got 3 points on the board against Sheffield United already, after such a bad and disorganised and disruptive pre-season, which isn't really in the fault of Wolves, it is going to be really interesting to see how we make the step up again against Manchester City. Let's ignore that game against Stoke City on Thursday. It was disastrous, a really poor evening of football. I think Nuno will be disappointed because he went with a fairly strong lineup. Yes, it was slightly rotated, but a fairly strong lineup, which I think you and I would have expected to beat Championship side Stoke, and we just didn't really get going. So I'm hoping now we've come to the realisation, we're in the league football now. The league is the only thing we have to focus on now until January. So I'm really hoping we can go for it. And it could be a very, very historic season for Wolves if we play like we know we can play, and if we can start getting results and grinding out more wins like Nuno is promising, really. So Manchester City, of course, their first game of the season. We saw Manchester United over the weekend, their first game of the season, and they just didn't look great. And I'm really hoping Manchester City are the same. They've brought in a couple of new players, but we know how good they are as a team. They're a very, very good side. Pep Guardiola and Nuno have had some great battles over the years, of course. We took them all the way to penalties in the Carabao Cup when we were in the Championship. And the first season in the Premier League, they probably slightly got the better over us. We got a draw at Molineux with the Willy Bolly hand of God, and then they decimated us at the Etihad. But last season, we got the double over them. We were just one of 2 teams to get the double over Manchester City last season. So Nuno, on paper, has got a slightly better record against City than obviously Pep. So it's going to be really interesting to see how we approach this game as well, because it's going to be a tough game. City have got some big players, still got some players injured, such as Sergio Aguero, but it's going to be intriguing to see how Wolves get on. I'm going to hand it over now to Manchester City fan Stephen, who's going to give us a bit of insight to see how City have got on over pre-season.
Hey Dave, thanks for having me on Talking Wolves ahead of this game. To get the City perspective, I'm not confident, if I'm being honest, mate, just because last time you guys gave us an awful lot of trouble, and the time before that, of course, you did the double overs last season. So that's got me a little bit nervous, and especially given the summer transfer window so far for City has been only a 4 out of 10. We signed Ake and Torres in a week, which got really exciting, but then after that we obviously pursued Messi for a little bit, which is a very messy transfer saga, and it was terribly frustrating to watch that kind of fall through. And also then Koulibaly's been a painful, long, overdrawn process that hasn't been done, and City desperately need a centre-back, and that hasn't happened, unfortunately. So we've kind of added some squad players, but not really solved any issues, including left-back, maybe a backup striker for a now injured, predictably, Sergio Aguero, and maybe a centre-back. We haven't solved those. So it's been a very frustrating pre-season and transfer window. Pre-season hasn't been great. Guardiola's barely been near the team because because he was quarantined after going to Barcelona, probably to talk to Messi, so that was pointless. And likewise, Laporte has been quarantined. He won't be available. Mahrez has only had 1 day training after being quarantined. Bernardo is injured. Aguero's injured. I know, poor me and all that kind of stuff. But basically, City fans aren't really that confident at the moment, if I'm being totally... I'm being honest with you, basically. City fans are feeling a little bit apprehensive because there are key players out. We haven't really fixed some of the problems that were going into this season. And I know we'll still do really well. And I know City will still beat most teams and we'll get loads of points and loads of goals and all that kind of stuff. But as it currently stands, City fans are a little bit apprehensive about this game because going away at Wolves, given last season, it feels like a game that we didn't want at the moment. Having said that, I'm an optimistic Manchester City fan. And I still feel if City sign a centre-back, that City will end up doing well this season. I think that's the big if. If we don't, we'll come second. If we do, I think we'll come first. But for now, with this game, on my prediction on my channel, I've gone for a 2-2. Because I think we're going to see goals, but at the same time, I think we will score. Because I think the early season and all that kind of stuff, and also the fact there's no fans in the ground, I think it'll be a very clinical atmosphere, which will play into Manchester City's hands. But anyway, best of luck for the season, but not for Monday. Anyway, cheers.
So big thanks to Stephen for that. You can find his links in the description down below for his channel and his Twitter as well. But the hardest part, again, the predicted lineup. Last season was so easy because Wolves almost went into every game and you knew how they were going to line up. Again, similar to the first game against Sheffield United, similar to the game against Stoke, I just didn't know how Wolves were going to approach it. This is going to be interesting because, you know, Nuno has, we've been playing quite a counter-attacking style and, my head would say going into this game against Manchester City, we're going to shore up the midfield and we're going to play 2 up top again and go with a 5-3-2. However, with the way Nuno's saying things, he wants to start dominating teams and attacking teams a little bit more. It makes me think, you know what, we've probably got unchanged from the win against Sheffield United. It wouldn't surprise me to see us do that. The Manchester City defence is not settled at all. It's just all over the place, and it has been for the last 12 months or so. And they're looking to still bring some more players in. So Nuno might be looking at that and thinking, you know what, let's get as many attacking players as we can up there and start putting a bit of pressure on this Manchester City defence. Really test them out and see how they're doing. So I can't look past a 5-2-3. I genuinely think we might go with that again. A 5-2-3, a 3-4-3. And I think we'll go unchanged from that game against Sheffield United. Rui Patricio in goal. Romain Saiss at the back, who was unbelievable against Sheffield United. I looked over him as man of the match, but, in hindsight, probably, he did deserve it. And he could have easily got 2 or 3 goals in that game. And I loved his, meandering runs up the field. And hopefully he can do that throughout the season as well. So I've got to see Saiss, Cody and Bolly at the back. Marcel, who was great at left wing back. Adama at right wing back again. Matinho and Donk. I think, obviously very, very harsh on Neves. We could see Neves come in, to be fair, because he did okay against Stoke. But yeah, Matinho and Donk in the middle. And then Podence, Neto and Jimenez up top. It wouldn't surprise me to see 3 in the middle and 2 up top. Possibly seeing Fabio Silva come in, or even Neto start up front with Adama, with Jimenez, sorry. But yeah, I reckon Wolves might go for this one and put some early pressure on Manchester City. And we've got to. If we want to be top 6, we can't just rely on us being quite defensively sound. We've got to go for games. We've got to score more goals. We've got to see teams off and kill teams off. And I genuinely think we're going to do that today against Manchester City. So I'm going to go with a score prediction. I'm going to go away from a classic 2-1. I'm going to say Wolves are going to get a clean sheet and Wolves are going to win the game 1-0. I'm very, very confident, as you can tell. I like to be positive. Manchester City have got some world-class players, and I'm just hoping that Wolves can find them and catch them on a day off. At the start of the season, they're in a similar position to Wolves. They're quite fortunate they got an extra week off. But like us, they would have had a disrupted pre-season with players on international duty. And with Wolves having that little bit more time, we watched that game last week against Sheffield United. We saw the mistakes we made against Stoke. Nuno's had time to look at that, review that, and change that. And I'm hoping we can grab 3 points and 6 points out of 6 out of our first 2 games, guys. Such a contrast from last season where it took us a while to get our first win. I'm looking forward to it. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. And until next time, enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll see you all very soon.